When your bunny starts slowing down, do you actually know what they're trying to tell you? Yes, it's painful to even consider, but behind that fear, there's something deeper that most rabbit owners miss. This is one of the most emotionally loaded decisions you'll ever make as a bunny parent. And if you wait too long, which most owners do, you might quietly rob them of the peaceful ending they deserve. Let's start with what your bunny is really showing you. Number 7. The hidden signs your bunny is telling you. Have you noticed your bunny isn't binking anymore, or that they're spending more time just sitting still? Here's what most people don't realize. Rabbits are prey animals. Their survival instinct is to hide weakness until they physically can't anymore. So by the time your bunny looks sick to you, they've likely been suffering for longer than you think. The signs aren't always dramatic. It's not always labored breathing or collapsing. Sometimes it's the absence of joy. Your bunny used to sprint across the room when you opened the treat bag. Now they just look at you. They used to groom themselves obsessively. Now their fur looks dull and matted. They used to flop over in pure relaxation. Now they just sit hunched. These aren't just signs of aging, these are signs of discomfort your bunny can't put into words. And here's the part that breaks my heart. You know your bunny better than anyone. If something feels off, it probably is. That nagging feeling you've been pushing down? That's not paranoia. That's love recognizing suffering before it becomes unbearable. And later in this video, I'm going to give you 3 specific questions to ask yourself that will help you know, with clarity, when it's actually time. 6. Why your gut feeling is probably right. Why does everyone around you keep saying your bunny still has time, but something in your chest is screaming otherwise? Because they don't live with your bunny, you do. They see a rabbit who's still eating a little, still hopping around the cage. You see a rabbit who's lost their spark, and that difference matters more than most people want to admit. There's this quiet pressure rabbit owners face. Friends say you're overthinking it. Family says you're giving up too soon. Even some vets will say, let's try one more treatment, and suddenly you're second-guessing the one thing you know to be true. Your bunny isn't themselves anymore. Here's what I need you to hear. You are the expert on your rabbit, not your neighbor, not your cousin who had a bunny once. You know what their normal looks like. You know the difference between a rough day and a fundamental shift in who they are. A study published in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior found that owner observation is one of the most accurate indicators of animal pain and distress, often more reliable than clinical tests alone. So if your gut is telling you something's wrong, it's not betrayal to listen. It's the deepest form of respect you can show the bond you've built together. 5. Quality of life versus quantity of time, the framework vets actually use. What if the real question isn't how much time they have left, but how much of that time is actually worth living? This is where most rabbit owners get stuck. You start counting days instead of measuring moments. You think if they're still here, you're doing the right thing. But here's the truth vets won't always say out loud. Keeping them alive and keeping them comfortable are not the same thing. There's a tool many veterinarians use called a quality of life scale. It's not complicated, it asks simple questions. Is your bunny eating and drinking on their own? Are they able to move without visible pain? Do they still show interest in their surroundings? Are their bad days starting to outnumber their good days? That last one is the most important. One bad day in a week of good ones? That's life. But when you realize you can't remember the last truly good day, that's your answer. And I know what you're thinking. What if tomorrow is better? What if next week they bounce back? But here's what waiting too long actually does. It turns their final days into fear and confusion instead of peace and comfort. You're not giving them more life. You're giving them more suffering. 4. What your bunny actually needs from you right now. What if I told you the bravest thing you can do for your bunny isn't fighting harder, but letting go sooner? Most rabbit owners think their job is to exhaust every option. Try every medication. Book every vet visit. Keep pushing because that's what love looks like. But your bunny doesn't understand why they keep getting poked and prodded. They don't know you're trying to save them. They just know they hurt. Rabbits experience stress and pain differently than dogs or cats. Their heart rate can spike to dangerous levels just from fear. A study from the University of Bristol found that chronic stress in rabbits can actually worsen their physical condition faster than the illness itself. So every car ride to the vet, every forced medication, every unfamiliar handling, it's not just uncomfortable, it's actively frightening them. What your bunny actually needs from you right now is relief, not heroics, not one more treatment that might buy another week of confusion and discomfort. They need you to read the room they've been sitting in alone and make the call they can't make for themselves. This is the shift that changes everything. You stop asking, "What else can I do to keep them here?" and start asking, "What do they actually need to feel safe right now?" And sometimes the most loving answer is peace. And hey, before we move to the next one, make sure to hit like and subscribe so we can get this video to more people who love their bunnies as much as you do. 3. The 3 questions that will give you your answer. Are you ready to stop guessing and actually know what your bunny needs from you? This is the part I promised you earlier. 3 questions, not from a textbook, not from a guilt trip, from the only place that matters, your honest heart. Question 1. If your bunny could talk, would they tell you they're tired? Close your eyes and picture them, not the bunny they were 6 months ago. The bunny sitting in front of you right now. Are they resting or are they just enduring? There's a difference, and you know it when you see it. Question 2. Are you keeping them here because they want to be here or because you're not ready to say goodbye? This one stings, but it's the most important. Look at their face. Look at their body language. Are they engaged with life or are they just waiting? Your fear of loss is valid, but it can't be the reason they stay. Question 3. If this were you, what would you want someone who loves you to do? Would you want them to keep trying or would you want them to let you rest? Your bunny trusts you to make that call. And deep down, you already know what that call is. These 3 questions won't make the decision easier, but they will make it clearer. And clarity in a moment like this is the kindest gift you can give yourself and your bunny. 2. The conversation you need to have with your vet and yourself. How do you even begin to ask the question you've been dreading? Here's the thing. Most rabbit owners wait until the decision is made for them. They wait until their bunny stops eating entirely, until they can't move, until the vet says there's nothing left to try. But by then, the goodbye isn't peaceful. It's panicked, and your bunny deserves better than that. You need to have this conversation with your vet before it becomes an emergency. Call them. Be honest. Say the words out loud. I think my bunny is suffering. I need you to help me understand what's happening and what my options are. A good vet won't shame you for asking. They'll respect you for being brave enough to face it. Ask them these specific things. Is my bunny in pain, even if they're hiding it? What does the trajectory look like from here? What will their final days look like if we don't intervene? And this is the big one. If this were your bunny, what would you do? Now here's the conversation you need to have with yourself. What kind of goodbye do you want for them? At home where everything smells familiar and safe? Or at the clinic where it's faster but sterile? There's no wrong answer, but you need to think about it now, not in the moment when you're already breaking. Most vets offer at-home euthanasia for rabbits. It costs more. But it means your bunny's last moments are in your arms, in their favorite spot, not on a cold table under fluorescent lights. That matters. 1. The gift only you can give them and why it's the hardest act of love. What if the worst day of your life is actually the greatest gift you'll ever give your bunny? I know that sounds impossible right now. You feel like you're failing them, like you're giving up. Like maybe if you just tried harder or waited longer, things would turn around. But here's the truth that no one wants to say out loud. The ability to end suffering is a gift most creatures never get. And you holding that power for your bunny? That's not cruelty. That's mercy. Your bunny has trusted you their entire life. For food, for safety, for comfort. And now, in their final moment, they're trusting you one last time. To know when enough is enough. To spare them the confusion and pain of a slow decline. To give them peace while they still recognize you. This decision will hurt you more than anything. You'll cry. You'll doubt yourself. You'll wonder if you did it too soon. But here's what I need you to remember. Grief isn't proof you did something wrong. Grief is proof you loved them deeply, and love doesn't always look like holding on. Sometimes it looks like letting go. When it's over, you're going to feel relief mixed with guilt. That's normal. The relief isn't because you're glad they're gone, it's because you finally stopped watching them suffer. And that's okay. That's human. That's love doing the hardest thing it will ever have to do. Your bunny won't remember the vet visits or the medications or the pain, but they will leave this world knowing they were safe, knowing they were loved, and knowing that you cared enough to make the choice they couldn't make for themselves. That's the gift. That's the goodbye they deserve.